Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Amanda Gamble. I'm Chief Service Officer in the Mayor's Office of Civic Engagement and Volunteer Service. Today's a very exciting day for us. Today you will hear from cross-sector leaders in our city who will share what it means to come together and address the root causes of poverty in Philadelphia. These complex issues require the commitment and attention of people who deeply care about the future of our city's residents. It requires people that are willing to invest in initiatives that combat the effects of the interwoven roots that perpetuate poverty. As I look around the room today, I know that many of you are those very people. We know that one essential asset that is needed in order to break the cycle of poverty is access to career pathways and workforce skills and development. Over the past few months, the Office of Civic Engagement and Volunteer Service has been convening cross-sector leaders to think through how we can provide access for individuals to create a stronger future for themselves through a commitment to a year of service, resulting in sustainable careers. The National Service Task Force Steering Committee, comprised of educational institutions, corporations, nonprofit organizations, and government, believes that the outcomes of a service year are mutually beneficial for members and communities. The results that we see are not only individuals with professional and leadership skills, but a stronger sense of civic engagement, and strengthened self-sustaining communities as well. Through this work, the steering committee aims to increase the number of full-time service year opportunities, the number of potential individuals who are ready and willing to serve, and the awareness of national service throughout the city. If we achieve this vision, we will ultimately decrease the effects of poverty and connect individuals to career pipelines and professional development opportunities that they would otherwise not be able to access. We recognize that this work cannot be achieved without partnership and collaboration. Thanks to American Airlines, we are able to take a step forward towards achieving these goals. Today is about what can be done when we come together across sectors to achieve a common goal, the goal of breaking the cycle of poverty and building a stronger Philadelphia for all. Our hope for today's program is to demonstrate how some of these deeply invested organizations are working in partnership to address the root causes of poverty in Philadelphia. So without further ado, it is an honor to introduce someone that has demonstrated a deep commitment to service in our city and continues to support opportunities that uplifts our city's youth and families. Please welcome to the podium, Mayor Jim Kenney.
Thank you, Amanda, for the introduction, and it's really great to be here this afternoon. And I want to start by thanking Hub Vice President Jim Moses, Managing Director of Community Relations and Employee Engagement Chris Singley, Vice President of Government and Airport Affairs Mike Minerva, and more than 100 frontline team members representing American Airlines Philadelphia's Hub. Thanks. Thank you. Philadelphia is the nation's 6th largest city and is continuing to grow thanks to investments in the region's burgeoning financial, medical, tourism, and higher education sectors. However, our city also has the highest poverty rate among major U.S. cities, which is why it is crucial that we invest in initiatives that support inclusive growth in every neighborhood. Our service year programs establish community-based solutions to decrease the effects of poverty and empower underserved communities while also providing participants with the skills they need to succeed in their future endeavors. We have over 2,500 individuals serving as AmeriCorps and Senior Corps members each year who mentor and teach in our schools, clean our parks, assist in our healthcare facilities, and much more. While many Philadelphians are able to launch a fulfilling career through service years, it is important for us to recognize and address the existing barriers participants experience, like housing insecurity and living on a small stipend. Through this partnership with American Airlines, our city will be establishing a fund to provide the resources necessary to expand service year opportunities and accessibility in Philadelphia and the surrounding region. This fund will help us increase the number of full-time service year opportunities and foster awareness of national service all across the city. The greatest pursuit in life, I believe, is service to others, And in Philadelphia, we are making sure service years are a promising option for anyone to give back and do better for their future and for their own community. Today is about what can be done when we come together across sectors to achieve a common goal. We're thankful to all the partners in the room who help make this work happen every day, including the members of the National Service Task Force Steering Committee, as well as Philabundance, which has been the vital resource for Philadelphia residents facing food insecurity. So I want to thank you again, American Airlines, for your commitment to growing your business in Philadelphia and supporting the expansion of career pathways for Philadelphia's youth. We look forward to working together to break the cycle of poverty and to build a stronger city for everyone. I've always said that the only way out of poverty is education, and education brings work and brings jobs. And unless we invest in our education up front with our 2- and 3-, 4-year-old babies starting, we'll never get to the point where they're ready to meet the demands of the job sector that we're dealing with outside. The other part of it is getting adults who have not had that good educational experience, but may have gone off the track a little bit in certain ways, back on track with us, having purpose for them, having opportunities for them, and allowing them to have dignified lives, to do the things all of our parents wanted us to do. So I want to thank all the participants again. Thanks, American Airlines. It's you're our airline here in Philadelphia, and we thank you for all your help and work. And I congratulate all the people who participate in this wonderful endeavor. So God bless you all, and thanks.
Thank you so much, Mayor Kenny. All right, so now we're going to have a panel. So I'd like to invite our panelists up. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'd like to start out with having each of you introduce your name, title, and organization.
A little closer. It's Jim Moses, and I am the Vice President of Philadelphia Hub Operations for American Airlines. Thank you.
My name is Julia Halengus. I'm the Executive Director of PowerCorps PHL. It's a national service program that uses service as the vehicle for workforce development here in Philadelphia.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daryl Bundridge, and I'm the very proud Executive Director and Vice President of City Year Philadelphia, the wonderful 18 to 25-year-olds you see in the red jackets around the city that do great work in our schools, helping our young people realize their promise as tutors, mentors, and role models.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jennifer Johnson-Keeby. I'm the Executive Director of Drexel's Lindy Center for Civic Engagement. We think a lot about the connections between students, our faculty, our staff, and our communities, and how they really come together both in academic and co-curricular ways. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Milani Cataldi, and I'm the Chief Impact Officer at Philabundance. We are the region's largest anti-hunger organization. We serve 9 counties between Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey, including Philadelphia. And I'm proud to be here today to talk about how food banking and other organizations can move past just saving the day and start working on long-term solutions. I'm glad to be here.
I hope you're all excited to hear about the great work that these folks are doing. Okay, so to start off, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for American Airlines. So, Jim, American Airlines has called Philadelphia home for years, and you're obviously a key economic driver in the community. What is Americans' perspective on its responsibility to the Philadelphia area?
Well, you're absolutely right. We do call Philadelphia home and have done that for many, many years. In fact, back in 1945, before Philadelphia International Airport was Philadelphia International Airport, it was Philadelphia Municipal Airport, and American Overseas Airlines, which is one of our, original airlines, actually flew the first flight to London out of here. So we have a great history here. We have been a hub here for over 30 years. Back before U.S. Airways was U.S. Airways, it was U.S. Air. And we first established a hub, and one of the largest employers in this region too. But we look upon not only the work we do at the airport, but also our work in this community. We are very involved in the community, looking for pathways to not only help those that are suffering in poverty, but also finding pathways to work. And which way we were very, very excited to be involved in this project that allowed us to bring different organizations together. As we look at some of the work we've done, we have often, focused on many, many different organizations and ways we could give. But what we're embarking upon today allowed us to have, one focal point, and which is why we said, let's convene this panel today to bring some folks together to talk about what American Airlines could help lead as we look into the future, and really to help the city of Philadelphia.
Awesome. So in the spirit of cross-sector collaboration, Daryl, City Year is doing some incredible things to assist our youth to realize their potential within the school system. What do you see as the opportunity for public and private sectors to partner together in order to improve student outcomes?
So thank you for acknowledging City Year is doing some great things in that space. We're pretty proud of our work of 215 AmeriCorps members serving in 19 schools. And we're also proud of the public and private partnerships that we have with numerous corporations throughout the city, as well as foundations and individual giving entities. So we know that the work that we do, whether it's through public support or private support, neither one can get it done individually with the scale and the scope and the depth that is needed to attend to this work. And we, as an organization that's been in the community for 22 years, have certainly tried that. But what we see is when we're able to leverage support that we receive from the school district or from the city with support that we're getting from corporations or from foundations or whatnot, we're able to magnify the intensity of the work, the longevity of the work, and we're able to sustain our presence in the schools that we're serving in so that the students can count on seeing us from year to year, that we can continue to build our partnerships with our principals and our school staff from year to year, and that promise that we make, we call it the 7-year promise with City Year, of being with a third grader from third grade to ninth grade, we can actually begin to realize that, and we can only do that through sustained multi-year partnerships with corporations, foundations, and individuals.
Awesome. So Jen, how does higher education fit into all of this then?
For sure. So, higher education, classically, we have college students. College students need to think about what they're doing when they graduate. I think a service year is a real viable option for students who are thinking about what their next professional step is. I think that's a natural way higher ed can kind of play into this mix, but I don't think it's the only way. I think there's a couple others we need to be thinking about as well. A service year is also an opportunity for a student coming out of high school. When they're doing their post-secondary planning, it can be a stop before they get into higher ed, and higher ed as a collective, we could make that more accommodating, for sure. I think that's something that we could think about. There's also some really creative ways that I see people incorporating, I see higher eds incorporating service years into the middle of programs where they become kind of part of an academic pathway for students. Beyond that, I also think, higher ed has a responsibility to the communities in which they're located in. So as much as a service year can be a workforce development pathway for community members, so people who live in the communities where higher ed institutions are located, I think we should be supporting that, and we should be thinking about ways to make those pipelines available.
Awesome. So Julia, I think that sets you up for this great question. So PowerCorps has developed an innovative model to support workforce development in a community of people who may have often been forgotten. And you found a way to both support and also support them that really benefits the city. So what kind of results are you seeing from those graduating from the program?
Sure. So, PowerCorps PHL engages young people 18 and 28 who have been off track for some reason or another. Maybe they dropped out of high school, they had some court involvement, but they're really ready and willing and want to grow and learn from that. And they also are very eager to contribute back to their communities and our neighborhoods. And so we take them through, terms of service that provide a great asset to Philadelphia Parks and Recreation, the Philadelphia Water Department, so there's real tangible outcomes from their service, but they're also getting job training. And so what we're seeing now is we're about we're going into our 7th year of operation. We now have alumni in the water department who have been employees, full-time civil service employees, for going on 4 or 5 years now. They are now the hiring managers for new alumni from Power Corps going in, and they're the ones who are making those hiring decisions. Did you do what you need to do in Power Corps? Do you have the skills that requires for city employment? And they're really starting to sort of make that full circle back and forth. So it's been really great.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Speaking of vocational training, Milani, the mission of Fill Abundance continues to evolve, and you're doing more than simply feeding people. You're also teaching them. Can you talk a little bit about how you've worked to address food insecurity and hunger through vocational training and what the impact has been?
Absolutely. So let me start off by saying that Fill Abundance helps to feed about 90,000 people a week. The challenge is that there's more like 700,000 in our 9 counties that need help at some point during the year. And so we realized that even though it's going to continue to be really important to distribute good, healthy food to families that need it, we need to do more. We need to use some of our resources cross-sector to actually get at solutions, longer-term solutions with people. And so earlier this year, we made the bold move and we announced that we formed a new department called Ending Hunger for Good. And that's using some of our food with housing, healthcare, education, workforce development, and financial literacy to see if we can jointly get at some longer-term solutions. And really, it is about creating alternative pathways for people to move ahead. So a foundational program that Fill Abundance has, and that's been changing lives for men and women for about 20 years here in Philadelphia, is the Fill Abundance Community Kitchen. It is a culinary arts, vocational training and employment program for un- and underemployed men and women. And you know, it's a 14-week program where folks come in and they're getting culinary arts, hard skills, serve safe food handling, job readiness training, a lot of life skills, because we all need that from time to time. And people are graduating and then going on to work in the industry where we have a lot of partnerships. So we've got graduates working at restaurants like Amada. We've got graduates working in healthcare, in shelters, in education. We have graduates hiring graduates. They're coming out at an average wage of $12 an hour, which is not enough, but it is better than minimum wage, and we keep with them, and when I say keep with them, I mean stock them, for a minimum of 2 years to make sure that folks have the support they need to stay employed or get reemployed and then start to develop a career ladder. And it's been so successful. It really is the Fill Abundance family now. Our graduates, our alum, are really the fabric of the program, that with partners like the City of Philadelphia, we are building a new facility. It opens in June by Temple University. We'll be able to double the number of students that we bring through the program. We'll be able to provide millions of meals a year for the community and grow the good and the partnerships that we have, everything from agencies we recruit from all the way to our employers and our food donors, and continue that cycle of partnership for good.
That's really great.
Yeah.
So I feel like that brings us back to Jim. So in your mind, how can businesses partner effectively with nonprofits and government to affect change in the communities in which they work?
Well, you know, what we're discussing today, the macro levels around poverty, are larger than any one organization can handle. And, but we feel as, you know, at American, you know, we are a major employer in this region, and we feel that it is also our responsibility to use some of our influence really to get involved, to help others, to help other organizations, other stakeholders get involved. And that's why, you know, we're very excited about the opportunity we embark upon today. We also, you know, as Mayor Kenny mentioned, you know, we are growing. We are continuing to grow in this region, and we are continuing to grow in Philadelphia. This is our home, and we take it very, very seriously. And as we do that, and we want to ensure we have a pipeline of talent also to come to work for American Airlines, ensuring that we have collective growth, not just as American, but the city of Philadelphia. And that's why, as I said, we take this upon not just with American, but with our various stakeholders, and we're very, very excited about the future.
That's awesome. So, Julia, What are you thinking about for the continued evolution of the program to continue to help break the cycle of poverty?
Sure. So I think we've all said it in different ways, but the real power and the real magic of using national service to further these big, ambitious goals is that it has so many co-benefits. So when we engage young people, are we helping them to grow and find jobs? Yes, so we're helping individuals. But through that journey, through that work that they're putting in, the service they're putting in, all residents, all neighborhoods across Philadelphia are benefiting from very tangible results, getting services they wouldn't otherwise get. On top of that, employers have talent needs and they're looking for great employees to come into their organizations. And so the business community is also benefiting from it. So one investment in national service, in the things that we're talking about, has at least right now, I just named 3 large stakeholders that benefit greatly from that. And I think that's really, we need to see ourselves as part of that. I think we're all part of this great network across Philadelphia, and to live that walk. So I'll give an example. We have a Power Corps alumni, his name's Marquise. He came to us, he didn't really know what he wanted to do next, he was a little shy. We got to know him, we got helped him with his confidence a little bit, and he sort of opened up and said, I really want to go into culinary arts. That's not something we have any expertise in. We did, however, connect him with Phil Abundance, his program. He graduated about a month ago, and I think is awesome is at the graduation, he had this amazing chef's jacket, they get the program. Underneath that chef's jacket, he was wearing his Power Corps uniform. And I think that speaks to the fact that once you have that service experience, you're going to carry that with you wherever you go. And I think that we have to remember that what you do in City Year, what you do in Power Corps, what you do in other national service programs, whether right then and there it gets you what you want, young people are walking around, old people are walking around, we're all walking around with that, they're our AmeriCorps alumni, by the way, having carried that experience with us, and we're going to carry that into whatever positions we go into next. So I think that's really where we see Power Corps having the largest impact moving forward.
That's great. So Daryl, for people who might be thinking about doing a year of service with City Year, we know that City Year's educational model is based on leading research demonstrating that a holistic approach to supporting students in schools has a measurable impact on the students and communities we serve. So what essential characteristics does a successful mentor need to bring to the role, and what characteristics do they need to be willing to learn?
So I feel like I got the free shameless plug of City Year segment of the panel, www.cityyear.org. But to put the answer in front of the question, when we look at what makes a good City Year AmeriCorps member, this person needs to have a love or a great interest in young people and wanting to see them succeed. And that doesn't mean that they are deciding what path that young person goes down, but they are helping that young person realize the path they want to pursue and are walking with them in that journey. So they're not coming in with a savior complex of, I'm going to fix whatever is wrong or what challenges you have, but I'm going to help you to identify the talents and the strengths that you have and magnify those for the greatest good. They have to be willing to work hard, to adjust and learn about the communities and the schools in which they serve, and how to best leverage that in terms of the work they're trying to get done, to work well with teams, to certainly appreciate diversity and inclusion and belonging, and the key things that make our city very rich and yet need more attention and work. So those are the things that we look for in our AmeriCorps members, generally 18 to 24 years old, from all over the country, certainly locally as well, different degrees, some high school grads, some partial college, some college grads. In terms of the experience for them, they need to be open to learning. They need to realize that as much as they are going to bring and give a great deal to this experience, they're not coming in with all the answers. They're not going to leave with all the answers. But part of the experience that we are trying to provide for them is to give them perspective, to give them tools or help sharpen their tools that make them more critical thinkers, that help build their awareness of the issues, and help make them better advocates to go out and inform as active citizens how they vote, how they give philanthropically, how they continue to volunteer, and so how they become better engaged citizens, not just in this year of service or beyond. If they are open to that, they will have a more than successful year and experience with City Year.
Thank you. So Jen, for those individuals who are coming out of their year of service and maybe going into higher ed, how can higher education more deeply support those individuals who have completed a year of service?
Yeah, So I think there's a couple ways that we could be a little bit more creative, and I don't think we're there yet, but here's where I think we could go absolutely. You know, many of you have probably heard of the Yellow Ribbon Program, the program that really supports veterans that are coming back into higher education with essentially really covering a large part of the cost. You know, there could be something very comparable for students who are completing years of service and what that ultimately looks like. Okay, now that's a grand vision. What could we do on the micro level? Well, there's that Ed Award. Right? You get an Ed Award when you complete a year of service in most instances. Is there a way for higher ed to match that? You know, is there a way for us to provide a discount in some kind of capacity? I think these are real questions that higher eds need to think about when we're already competing so hard for students, and this is an excellent pool of students to recruit. So I think that those kind of creative solutions need to be examined closely by higher ed.
Thank you. So Milani, in addition to your community kitchen initiative, which you talked about, can you talk about other partnerships that you're forming?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're working out in Montgomery County with Habitat for Humanity and another organization called the Pottstown Cluster of Religious Communities. And together we're combining food, financial literacy training, housing, and other coaching over a period of 2 years to see if we can help families in the Pottstown area kind of increase their stability over time. We're looking to do things like that across our service area. And the way that that will work, the way for organizations to come together and be successful, is to change the conversation. And that's what's happening here. I think for so long, nonprofits have been strapped with limited resources and trying to solve the big, hairy problems that we face. We need everybody from our supporters to our partners to be able to talk about a holistic, collaborative solution where we don't have all the answers, but it's okay to try and to see if we can solve this together. And that's what's so exciting about today.
Thank you. All right, so I feel inspired by all the work that's happening here. I hope you all feel inspired too. So I want to open this up to all of you to ask a couple of questions of our awesome panelists, so I can take a step back. Does anybody have any questions? Don't be shy.
I'm just going to be handing the mic to everyone.
We couldn't have possibly answered every question.
No questions? Oh, we got a question.
We've got two.
Hi there, I'm Karen Fox with Vanguard. Daryl, with City Year, you talked a lot about what makes for a successful profile as far as a core member that's drawn to the mission. Given the funding that you have now, and just in general, I'm curious, what tactics do you use to promote to get those individuals, and what will you continue to do to draw the right person to serve?
Thank you. Great question. Having said that, I will say that this is a very competitive time to reach out to 18 to 25-year-olds, at least in our work, and I would say in talking with my peers, it is as well, because as many young people as there are who want to make that year of service commitment, they also want to land a meaningful work experience that pays a meaningful wage. And with the economy being what it is right now, I think many of them are concerned that if they pass up that opportunity to take that job, that it may not be there for them later. And so, quite honestly, we are competing with the job market. So while we're leveraging some of the traditional things that we certainly do, like reaching out on the college campuses and reaching into the high schools, and there's certainly lots more conversations to be held with higher ed institutions, with high schools, about what it means for someone 17 or 18 years old to come out of school and to serve a year. There's concern that a person may not go back to go into college after that, or what does that mean for them to stay on track? So I think we're doing some things to really help higher ed institutions understand the benefits of AmeriCorps members doing that. Certainly the most powerful thing that we can do is to make sure that our AmeriCorps members who are currently serving have positive experiences, because particularly with this age group, word of mouth and social media are the most powerful tools we have with bringing folks in or keeping them out. And so the experience that they have over the months that they're serving with us will definitely drive what they say to their friends. One of the things that we constantly are measuring is, would you recommend a service year to a friend? And the answers that they give to that are really strong metrics or measures of information that we use to help improve our program.
Thank you. Do we have another question in the front? Now you're being shy? Oh, he answered it already. Anybody else? All right, is there anything that our panelists want to? Oh, we have one.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, hi, I'm Tashay from American. This question is for Melanie. Did you say that program Ending Hunger for Good has started already, or?
It has. So we launched a new department in March, and we are now doing different programs with different organizations.
And for someone who would like to help out, how would I get information? What would I log on to?
You would take my card when you leave here. We're just in the kind of starting phases of this. We do have a volunteer portal on our website where people can sign up, but it's not linked to this work yet because it's so new.
Okay.
That does not mean we don't need help.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Any other questions?
There we go.
All right, we do have a question over here.
We have two.
Two questions, great.
There we go.
Hi, so I currently serve with Artist Year AmeriCorps, and I'm in a high school this year, and I am wondering if you pretend that I'm a 10th grader right now, or 11th or 12th. What advice would you give to those ages of students that are interested in these paths that we're talking about and that I'm in, that are potentially different from college, even when our counselor is like, hey, apply for college?
Let's get that counselor's name and have a conversation. But I mean that sincerely, right? Because, we've heard stories about, and I'm not saying that this is current, but we've heard stories about people having what we call a fixed mindset, that, everyone is meant to do this. So, there was a time where you were meant to go to college or you weren't, or you were meant to go into the workforce or you weren't. And we all know that based on who our young people are, there's a multiplicity of things that they could be doing. And I think the best thing that we could be doing for a 10th, 11th grader or talking to them about is, how many different things are you interested in? How many different things do you want to pursue? And how do we get those opportunities to you, right? And so some of that is about informing the adults who are meant to be support systems for them, and perhaps either educating them or dispelling some of the myths or things associated to the doing a service year, and why that's actually a more positive opportunity in many cases. And we also can't forget that getting to parents and caregivers is critical too. I know particularly when I talk with our young men and our young men of color about giving a year and serving, they've told me, if you treated talking to our parents like professional sports treats recruiting and talking to parents of professional athletes, you would probably see a lot more of us there. We know if mom says yes, it happens. If mom says no, it probably doesn't happen. And so we need to think about those type of tactics and strategies to have a stronger level of engagement for our young people.
Can I add a little bit? Yeah, I'm going to put my student affairs hat on. I think that time in your life when you are that 17, 18-year-old kind of discerning what's next, going to college might be a choice for you. Not going to college is absolutely a valid choice as well, and I think some of the stigma around that needs to be broken down. But I would love to have a conversation with that 10th grader, that 11th grader around what possibilities this experience could open up for you and how really to turn this compelling experience into something that will make you super competitive in the higher education market, or really, whatever you choose to do next. I mean, really, this is going to be a really powerful year for that person. So, yeah.
Great, I think we have time for one last question right here.
Hi, Jennifer, this question is for you. Any relationship or partnership with Campus Philly, who works with our local college graduates and try to retain them in the city of Philadelphia?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually used to work for Campus Philly way back in the day. So Campus Philly, for the folks in the room who aren't familiar, they really think about recruiting college-educated talent into the area, engaging it while it's here, and then retaining it so that we're really contributing to the workforce here in Philadelphia and avoiding that kind of chronic brain drain that cities experience with their college-educated talent. So how does Campus Philly fit into this conversation? We're still talking about that, aren't we, Amanda? We're trying to figure that out. I mean, one partner I can tell you that's really been at the forefront of this work is FEND, the Philadelphia Higher Education Network for Neighborhood Development. Both Campus Philly and FEND bring higher eds together into this work. And so, I think it's a natural question for you to ask. Thank you.
Just a little plug. My daughter spearheads the event planning for you guys with the Ayanna McElwain, what the university is around.
Oh,
okay?
Wonderful,
So
wonderful.
you can link with her.
Thank you. Thank you.
See, we're building partnerships everywhere. Okay, great. Well, can we get a round of applause for our panelists, please? All right, so I would now like to introduce Vice President of Philadelphia Hub Operations at American Airlines, Jim Moses. In his position, Jim Moses leads a team of more than 9,500 team members who serve nearly 60,000 customers traveling the world on more than 420 daily departures. Jim began his career with American as a flight attendant in 1982, and throughout his tenure has held a variety of leadership positions in Miami, New York, Boston, and America's headquarters. He's a native of Northeastern PA and earned a degree in business administration from John Carroll University. Please welcome to the podium, Jim Moses.
Thank you. Thanks, Amanda. Wow. Thank you. Well, thank you all for joining us today, and thank you to our partners for your insights and great conversation today about an issue that requires a commitment from all of us to solve. As a business partner in Philadelphia, and for more than 70 years, we stand with you as one of the region's largest employers, committed to working together to do better for all Philadelphians. Before we leave today, I'd like to leave you with just a few closing thoughts. First, I'm really very proud to say that, over the past year, I joined the Philadelphia team just over a year ago, and since then we've added lots of new service, right? We've added service both domestic and internationally while announcing our first ever nonstop flight to Africa, beginning with flights to Casablanca next summer. So really exciting news. And over the past year, American Airlines has hired more than 1,000 team members in Philadelphia, which we're also incredibly proud of. We've invested more than $250,000 in local community, begun construction. This is also very exciting. Begun construction just recently in an all-new flagship lounge designed to enhance the customer experience, and we have more good news to come. It's all part of the more than $12 billion economic impact we make in the region every year. Nevertheless, we recognize that our future growth and long-term success is directly linked to the growth and prosperity of the community where we all live and work. And we've discussed today there are shared challenges that face our community and our fellow citizens. But there's hope. Efforts undertaken by Mayor Kenney and the City of Philadelphia, along with the innovative work of community organizations like Philabundance, City Year, and Power Corps, aren't just treating the symptoms of financial insecurity, they're working to develop solutions that address its root causes, foster opportunity, and ensure a more stable future for all Philadelphians. It's through government and nonprofit partners that we can best collaborate to improve outcomes and really create a job-ready workforce to move our community forward. That's why I'm proud to be joined by more than 120 of our Philadelphia-based team members today, as well as local leadership from the CWA, the IAM and Association, the APFA and APA to present the National Service Task Force a $75,000 grant to establish a fund expanding opportunities for area youth to participate in service year programs. I'd also like to thank Melanie and Phil Abundance for joining us today. Your recently expanded work, pairing food with other training tools and resources, is already helping shorten the line at your door. Melanie, it's our deep honor to present Phil Abundance with a check for $50,000 to support your community kitchen, vocational training, and Connectors pilot program. And while these investments won't solve such systemic issues, we believe it's an extraordinary first step, and it truly is only a first step. American Airlines believes strongly that we must do our part to lift up and care for team members, our customers, and the communities we call home. Know that we stand with you, Philadelphia, as we grow our business presence and deepen our partnerships. I'm proud to say our giving doesn't stop here either. Our investment in the Philadelphia region will continue in other ways looking forward. I'm also delighted to announce today that American Airlines is bringing its Global Sales Conference to Philadelphia next May. You'll see more than 900 of our American colleagues descend on the city of brotherly love for their biannual week-long conference. And we're not just planning to invest in the economic engine of the city. These 900 team members will be spending extra time here, volunteering with various nonprofit organizations active in the community. All told, we expect the conference to bring more than 7,000 additional volunteer hours to Philadelphia, and let me tell you, we can't wait to get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today, for your insights, dedication, and hard work. Together, we can build a more stable, prosperous future for all Philadelphians. Thank you. Okay, now now the fun part, right? Now we get to, present those checks. And I think we've got some checks in the back, right? Katie and Andrew are bringing up some checks. Wow, very good. Wow, those look great. So, let's come and we'll do like the official check.
So if we have other National Service Task Force Steering Committee folks in the room, we'd like to bring you up now to accept this check.